Every morning is a new beginning, and beginnings matter. The way you speak to yourself in the first few moments of your day will shape how you walk through it. The words you whisper to yourself, the sentences you allow to form in your mind, they become the seeds of your actions, and your actions will shape your destiny. That is why I invite you to create a simple but powerful ritual. Tell yourself 12 affirmations every morning. 12 reminders that align your body, your mind and your spirit with the direction you wish to live. Because life is not lived by accident, it is lived by intention. When most people think of training, they imagine physical effort. They picture the sweat dripping from the body, the repetition of movements, the sharpening of techniques. But the deepest training of all does not begin with the body. It begins with the mind. Each morning when you awaken, the very first arena you enter is not the outside world, but the inner dialogue with yourself. This conversation is silent, invisible, yet it sets the foundation for everything else you do. If this training ground is ignored, no matter how much effort you give outside, you will remain unbalanced. A weak inner dialogue weakens even the strongest body, but a powerful inner dialogue strengthens even the most fragile frame. This is why the words you speak to yourself in the earliest hours matter more than most people realize. Imagine two warriors waking up. The first opens his eyes and thinks, "I am tired. I cannot face today. Life is difficult." Before he even rises, he has lost the battle. His body may stand, but his mind remains collapsed. The second warrior opens his eyes and thinks, "I am alive. I have breath. This day is my chance to grow stronger." The body of this second warrior may feel the same tiredness, the same heaviness, but his mind transforms the experience into fuel. The same morning, the same circumstances, but two completely different outcomes because of the training ground of self-talk. This is why every master of discipline, from martial artists to spiritual seekers, emphasizes awareness of inner speech. You cannot control the whole world, but you can learn to direct the conversation inside your head, and once you do, the world outside begins to respond differently. What you must understand is that this inner training is not about lying to yourself. Many people misunderstand affirmations. They think it is about forcing positive words without substance, but the truth is different. It is not about creating illusions. It is about remembering truths that the noise of life makes us forget. When you tell yourself in the morning, "I am strong," you are not pretending to be something you are not. You are reminding yourself of the strength you already carry, but often neglect. When you say, "I am capable of meeting challenges," you are not deceiving yourself. You are reactivating the memory of every challenge you have already overcome. This kind of self-talk is not fantasy, it is training. Just like a muscle grows stronger with repetition, so too does your inner voice become disciplined with conscious repetition of empowering truths. But here lies the difficulty. Most people leave this training ground unguarded. They wake up and allow the first thoughts to be shaped by old habits, by past failures, by fears of the future. This is like leaving your dojo open for anyone to enter without structure or order. Negative voices, whether inherited from childhood, absorbed from society or born from self-doubt, are allowed to train you instead. They whisper, "You are not enough. You cannot do this. You are too weak, too late, too ordinary." And because these voices go unchallenged, they become your teachers. What is the result? You live the day already defeated before it even begins. To reverse this, you must take back your training ground. You must become intentional. You must decide that when you open your eyes in the morning, the first words you speak to yourself are chosen with awareness, with strength, with clarity. Then, and only then, do you begin to live as your own master, instead of a student of negativity. There is a simple but powerful truth. The words you use are not neutral. They either move you forward, or they hold you back. Every morning when you rise, you are standing at a crossroads between two types of language, the language of weakness and the language of empowerment. Weak words drain energy before the day has even started. They tell you that you are uncertain, helpless, or at the mercy of circumstance. Empowering words, on the other hand, awaken strength. They remind you that no matter what comes, you have choice, you have resilience, and you have the ability to influence your path. Most people are not conscious of the words they choose, yet these words form the invisible architecture of their lives. To repeat phrases like, I can't, I don't know, or I'll try, is like building a house with fragile straw. To affirm instead, I will, I am learning, or I will find the way, is to lay stone upon stone. The building is stronger because the words are stronger. Consider a person about to climb a mountain. If before the first step, he tells himself, this is impossible, I am too weak, then the mountain has already won. His body may have the strength, but his words will sabotage his effort. Now consider another person, equally unprepared, equally inexperienced, who says, this mountain is high, but I will take one step at a time. His words do not erase the difficulty, but they give him the courage to move. What matters here is not blind optimism, but empowered framing. One set of words closes the door before it is even opened, the other set keeps the path alive. In this way, the language you use becomes a mirror of your destiny. When you consistently feed your mind with empowering words, you are not ignoring challenges, you are equipping yourself with the strength to face them. But why is this distinction so crucial? Because words do not stay on the surface. Every sentence you repeat to yourself carves a pathway in the mind. Neuroscience confirms this. Thoughts repeated over time create neural patterns that shape your habits, your identity, and your behavior. If you continually choose weakening words, you are carving deep grooves of limitation. Even when opportunity appears, you will not take it, because your language has already told you it is beyond you. Empowering words, however, carve different grooves. They remind you of agency, possibility, and growth. They create a mental landscape where problems are challenges to be solved, not walls to be feared. In martial arts, the stance of the body determines the power of the strike. In life, the stance of the mind, formed through words, determines the power of your actions. To stand weakly in language is to strike with no force. To stand strongly in language is to unleash your true potential. The practice then is to become aware of your daily vocabulary and refine it with intention. This requires vigilance, because weakening words often disguise themselves as harmless. Phrases like, I'll try, maybe later, or I can't handle this, slip easily from the tongue, but each one plants a seed of hesitation. Instead, you must train yourself to replace them with stronger, truer statements. I will do what I can now. I am learning to handle this. I choose to move forward. These are not empty slogans, they are declarations of self-direction. Over time, this shift in language transforms how you perceive life itself. You begin to meet obstacles not with surrender, but with resolve. You stop waiting for the world to give you permission, because your own words have already granted you the strength to act. In this way, every morning becomes a conscious decision. Will I weaken myself before the day begins, or will I empower myself with words that open the path ahead? Affirmations by themselves are not magic. Many people repeat phrases in the morning without feeling any true connection to them, and then they wonder why their lives do not change. This is because words without alignment are like seeds scattered on stone. They cannot grow roots. If your affirmations are not grounded in your values, they will remain empty sounds, quickly forgotten as the day begins to unfold. Your values are the compass of your life. They define what matters most, what you are willing to stand for, and what you are unwilling to compromise. When your affirmations are crafted from these values, they become living reminders of your direction. They are no longer just words you repeat to feel good. They become anchors that stabilize you when life tries to pull you away from who you really are. This is why alignment is essential. Without it, affirmations are fragile. With it, affirmations become unshakable. Consider a person whose deepest value is honesty. If he repeats every morning, "I am successful, I am powerful, I am admired," but spends his day lying to himself and to others, then his words will create an inner conflict. He may sound confident, but he will not feel congruent. His affirmations are disconnected from his true compass. Now imagine the same person beginning the day with a different phrase: "I live with honesty, and I bring truth into my actions." Every decision he makes throughout the day will find its anchor in this value. He may not be the wealthiest or the strongest, but he will walk in harmony with himself, and harmony with yourself is a greater form of success than any appearance of power. The lesson is clear. Affirmations that reflect values create harmony. Affirmations that ignore values create tension. There is also another truth. Values are not the same for everyone. For one person, discipline may be the highest value. For another, compassion may be the guiding light. Some place freedom above all else, while others place responsibility. This is why you cannot simply copy affirmations from another person and expect them to work for you. You must ask yourself, what do I stand for? What virtues do I wish to embody? When you know your values, you can shape affirmations that speak directly to them. If your value is discipline, then the words "I am disciplined, I keep my promises to myself" will strengthen you every morning. If your value is kindness, then affirming "I choose patience and kindness, even in difficulty" will align your mind and actions. When affirmations are crafted from your deepest values, they are not borrowed, they are born from within. And words born from within carry the greatest force. But alignment does more than strengthen your morning routine. It also protects you during the storms of life. When challenges arise, vague affirmations collapse under pressure, but value-aligned affirmations remain steady because they remind you of who you are, even when the world seems uncertain. A person who values courage and repeats each morning, "I walk with courage, even in fear," will carry that strength into difficult situations. A person who values growth and repeats, "I learn from every experience, whether success or failure," will find resilience in the face of setbacks. These affirmations are not about controlling life, they are about controlling the self. They remind you that no matter what happens externally, you can remain aligned internally. And when you are aligned internally, you move through life, not as a leaf blown by the wind, but as a tree rooted deeply in the ground. Repetition is the silent architect of identity. What you say, what you think, and what you do once may seem insignificant, but what you repeat every day becomes the rhythm of your life. A single drop of water falling on a rock leaves no mark. But when the drop falls again and again, day after day, it shapes even the hardest stone. In the same way, every affirmation you repeat in the morning is like that drop of water. It carves into the stone of your character. Over time, your words create grooves in the mind, and those grooves form the pathways along which your thoughts travel. At first, the practice may feel artificial, as if the words do not fully belong to you. But with repetition, they settle in, they sink deeper, and they begin to reshape the very image you hold of yourself. Identity is not something fixed, it is something forged, and repetition is the fire. To understand this more clearly, reflect on how habits form. Nobody becomes disciplined after a single act of focus, just as nobody becomes undisciplined after one moment of laziness. It is the repetition that matters. Every morning, you wake up and affirm, "I am disciplined, I act with consistency." You are reinforcing the pattern of discipline. The words train the mind, and the mind then directs the body to act in alignment. Over time, the affirmation and the action merge until they become indistinguishable. This is why repetition is so powerful. It transforms intention into identity. You no longer merely say you are disciplined, you begin to feel it, and then you begin to live it. This is also why negative affirmations, repeated unconsciously, are so destructive. To constantly tell yourself, I am weak, I am unlucky, I am unworthy, is to practice weakness, to rehearse failure, to train yourself into limitation. The words you repeat are the seeds of the self you will inevitably become. Consider a garden. If every day you water weeds, they will grow until they cover everything. If instead you water the flowers, the garden becomes vibrant and alive. Your mind is no different. Repetition is the watering can, and your affirmations are the seeds. The question is not whether repetition will shape your identity. It always does. The question is only, what are you repeating? For most people, the repetition is unconscious. They wake up, and the same inner voices speak. I am tired. I cannot handle this. Life is unfair. And without realizing it, they are watering weeds. But the disciplined individual takes back this process. He decides with clarity to repeat words that water strength, gratitude, resilience, and courage. He becomes the gardener of his own mind, and repetition is the practice that allows his garden to flourish. In this way, repetition is not a burden, but a gift. It gives you the ability to sculpt yourself, and so when you engage in the practice of morning affirmations, understand that you are not simply speaking words into the air. You are engraving patterns into your being. You are shaping the lens through which you will see the world, and in turn, how the world will respond to you. The first time you say, I am strong, it may feel like a whisper. The 10th time, it may sound like a statement. The 100th time, it becomes a truth. The 1000th time, it is no longer something you remind yourself of. It is who you are. This is the subtle but profound power of repetition. It takes something external and plants it so deeply within that it becomes inseparable from your identity. In this way, you are always training, always forming, always becoming. The only choice is whether you will repeat weakness into yourself, or whether you will repeat strength, until strength becomes you. Every morning, when you wake up, you are not only opening your eyes, you are opening a new chapter of your life. But most people move through this opening unconsciously. They rise quickly, reach for their phone, and allow the noise of the world to rush in before they have even centered themselves. In this way, they begin the day asleep, even though their body is awake. The purpose of practicing morning affirmations is not only to motivate yourself, it is to awaken yourself. Each affirmation you repeat is like a bell ringing in the silence of your mind, reminding you to come back to presence. Gratitude awakens appreciation. Courage awakens strength. Patience awakens peace. In this sense, the 12 affirmations are not a list of sentences to recite mechanically. They are a sequence of awakenings, each one calling forth a different aspect of your humanity. To practice them is to start the day consciously, deliberately, with full awareness of who you are and who you wish to become. Think of the morning affirmations as the 12 steps of a staircase. Each one lifts you higher, bringing you out of the heaviness of unconsciousness and into the clarity of awareness. The first affirmation may awaken gratitude. I am thankful for this day. The second may awaken strength. I have the power to face what comes. The third may awaken patience. I allow myself to move with calm. With each step, you are not just saying words, you are rising within yourself. By the time you complete all 12, you are no longer the same person who first opened their eyes with sleep still in their thoughts. You have ascended into a state of readiness, and this readiness does not come from external circumstances. It comes from within.
The affirmations are therefore not merely motivational tools, they are spiritual practices, aligning your inner world with clarity before you step into the outer world of tasks and responsibilities. What makes this practice so transformative is its consistency. Awakening is not something that happens once and then remains forever. Just as you wake from sleep every morning, you must also awaken the mind every morning. Life has a way of dulling our awareness. Stress, repetition, and routine slowly close our eyes again, even while we are awake. But the affirmations act as gentle reminders, daily rituals that pull you back into consciousness. Imagine a gong being struck in a monastery. The sound does not only mark time, it brings the monks back to mindfulness. Your affirmations function in the same way. They are your inner gong. Each one reverberates through your mind and body, shaking off the dust of forgetfulness and reminding you, this is who I am. This is how I choose to walk through today. Without such reminders, it is too easy to drift. With them, you return again and again to the essence of your being. And perhaps the most profound aspect of this practice is that the awakening does not stop with you. When you step into the day fully awake, fully aligned with your affirmations, you begin to carry that presence into every interaction. Your gratitude touches others, your patience softens conflict, your courage inspires those around you. In this way, the 12 affirmations are not only for your benefit, they ripple outward into the world. They transform the quality of your relationships, the energy of your environment, the direction of your life path. One awakened individual can awaken many others, just as a single candle can light 1,000 more without losing its flame. This is why the 12 affirmations are so much more than a morning habit. They are a practice of awakening, awakening yourself, and through yourself, awakening the world. So remember, the way you begin your morning is the way you begin your life, because life is nothing more than a series of mornings lived with awareness or without. The affirmations are not there to magically change the world around you. They are there to awaken the world within you. They remind you that your first training ground is your self-talk. They show you that words have power, and you must choose those that empower, not weaken. They align you with your deepest values, so that your life has direction. Through repetition, they shape your identity, slowly but surely, like water shaping stone. And in the 12 affirmations, you find not just motivation, but awakening, the conscious return to yourself before you step into the world. If you practice this daily, you will notice that mornings no longer feel like obstacles to overcome, but invitations to grow. You will discover that every day carries the possibility of strength, of presence, of clarity, and more importantly, you will no longer wait for circumstances to shape you. You will shape yourself, and when you shape yourself, you shape your destiny. So tomorrow, when the sun rises, do not simply wake up, awaken. Speak words that carry strength. Align them with your values. Repeat them until they become your very nature. And let the practice of these 12 affirmations be the quiet, powerful ritual that transforms not only your mornings, but your entire life.